Hey, vinyl community, it's Trevor back with another Flat Round and Spun. Here with me is Grace, coming to hang out with me. Also, this is going to tie in to what this video is all about. It's a contest entry for one of my best friends in the VC, Mike, MGK Boston, also known as MGK Buffalo.
You mean Colton's manservant?
Yes, Colton's manservant. Yes, Colton runs the whole household there. So anyway, him and his wife Patty got some prompts for us to answer, and we're gonna go through the questions. I got them listed here just off camera, and we're gonna go through this. Right? She's snacking. So anyway, well, also with the help of Grace, that means I get 2 entries in this contest. Thank you for helping me. And plus you get to help me with some, not help you, but I could ask you some of these questions too. So number 1 is vacation. Where would you like to go on a vacation?
My biggest one right now, probably New York City.
New York City. That's a good choice. Been there. It's very cool. Mine would be the one that never happened. Scotland. I want to go to Scotland. Or the UK in general, because I do want to make it down to London, Birmingham, England, and just Newcastle. So it'd be really cool. So let's see, where have you been? Like, what was your favorite vacation place?
Even though it didn't smell very nice and it was extremely hot, probably Las Vegas.
Vegas? That was cool. Vegas is always fun. I've always had a great time in Vegas. Let's see. Vacation. I mean, one of the funnest times was last year in Boston. Of course, I've gone over that numerous times. But vacation-wise, I want to say one of the funnest times was going back to Michigan, not going home, but when we went up north to Traverse City.
That was fun.
That was fun because that's off of Lake Michigan, and I hadn't been there in decades, and I forgot how very nice it is up there, so I wouldn't mind going back there again. So let's go to number 2. Name a solo artist that everyone seems to like, but you do not like. Let's see, one that everyone likes. Okay, back home, I have a good amount of people I went to high school with that love Kid Rock. And I remember him back in the club days. And yeah, when he broke out with Devil Without a Cause, yeah, cool. Put, Detroit back on the map. But, what was it? Only God Knows Why, or some silly song like that. When it got played on the radio, that's when a bunch of people that I went to school with, they were like, "Oh, Kid Rock, he's so great, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, where the hell have you been? He's been around for like 10 years. But that's mine. Is there a solo artist that your friends like, but you're like, whatever?
Not really that I could think of. I can't think of any solo artists. I know a lot of bands, but
okay, well, that'll be the next one. Band that everyone likes that you don't. I'm gonna say I don't care for. I don't hate any band, but the one that everyone likes. I guess I would say, oh man, a big one. I'm gonna get so much hate from some of my friends. Jethro Tull, I just don't get it. I'm not a prog guy, so I don't know. And I know Steve is probably saying they're not just a prog band, they do this, that, and the other thing. But yeah, Jethro Tull I never got into. What about you, a band?
I think since I've only heard like one song of them, and I've tried getting into the other songs, but I just can't, probably Slipknot, even though I know it would be fun to go to their concert and try.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't seem to get into it.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, that's another one. I like their first 2 records, but after that, I just, whatever. Okay, let's see. Show a jazz album. Well, it says it right in the title. Jazz. I mean, you didn't really specify the music had to be jazz, but Queen, jazz. We remember when we saw in the theater at the IMAX of them playing Montreal. Yeah, so Queen, jazz. There's my jazz record right there. Let's see what's next. Show a country and western album. This is something that I'm just recently getting into. Someone I always respected, also equally made fun of in my early days, but recently I've just kind of gotten into this guy, and vast catalog, but I'm not much of a greatest hits guy, but when someone has such a huge catalog, it's easy to just kind of get a good sampling. And that's Willie Nelson's greatest hits. Great double record here. Classics. Opens with On the Road Again. I remember that being a big hit as a kid. Whiskey River. Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain. Always on My Mind. Let's see. What else? Good stuff. God damn, there's so many. I could just pick one. One that's funny though is a song called "Roll Me Up," and it's Willie Nelson, Snoop Dogg. I don't know who Jamie Johnson is, and Chris Christopherson, but Snoop Dogg on a country record. There's some tie-ins with that. So, yeah. So we got Willie. Who is your favorite sports team? Do you have a sports team that you...
I'm just going to go with the basic Seahawks.
Okay. Well, then we're going to go with that. We're going to go with Seahawks. Right here. And to tie in, this was a gift from Mike and his lovely wife, Patty. So thank you very much. I could say it on camera. I know I sent a photo of it, but yeah. Seahawks. The reason why I like Seahawks, not just because I live here in the Seattle area and only been here for 15 years. Growing up, I was never a sports guy in the first place. So, I mean, I went to a Lions game a couple times, a couple Tiger games. I don't know if I've seen the Pistons. I know I've been to a few Red Wings hockey games. But when I got here and didn't know anyone, and I'm a delivery driver, there are two things that you could talk about with customers with all safety, and that's weather and sports. And Seahawks were just about ready to get hot. Russell Wilson was a new player in the game, and I figured, yeah, this is even, well, actually, I think he might have just been a newborn. I'm like, well, it's Sunday, let's watch a game, and I actually enjoyed it. And at the time, because the Lions were horrible for decades on decades, I'm like, oh, so this is what it's like to have a cool team to root for. So it was fun. So Seahawks, they're the one that actually got me into football all these years later. So, and I still have yet to go to a Seahawks game. Let's see. Share a concert memory. You've been to a few. What's one that sticks out in your mind?
Probably Ghost.
Ghost?
Because that was my first, I really wanted to go.
Yeah.
I was super excited. I mean, I was obviously excited for Metallica, but
Mm-hmm.
Ghost was, my first rock band, or at least somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one I actually got to go to the concert to.
Yeah.
So that was really nice.
And many of my viewers that watch my channel, they seen our adventures of going to see Ghost, because had the video of it, and my friends, they liked how you were reacting to it too, because we've all had that first time. I have so many concert memories, but one that just kind of, I figure I'd pick out of a hat in a way. There's a band called Stormtroopers of Death, also known as SOD. A couple guys from Anthrax, a guy from Nuclear Assault, and who was like the roadie of Anthrax, was on vocals, Billy Milano. But I actually got to see them in 1999, 2000, somewhere there. And it was at a club in Detroit. It was fantastic. They were kind of like a heavy metal crossover hardcore band with a lot of offensive humor to it. So, and they don't tour that often, so that was why I had to go. And they actually had a 7-inch single there called Seasoning the Obese, kind of a play off of Slayer's Seasons in the Abyss. Nice, cool yellow vinyl. And during the or after the show, I was able to get bass player Dan Lilker and singer Billy Milano to sign this. And I actually told Dan Lilker that their first album, Speak English or Die, saved a lot of lives, because I would get angry at people, and instead of throttling them, I would listen to SOD. And he's like, that's what music's good for, saving lives. And also, a guy I knew was tied in with Scotty and Charlie Benante from Anthrax, also in SOD, and said, hey, do you want to go hang out with them? I'm like, yeah. And the guy I was with, he's just like, I want to go home. So we never got to go hang out with them. Dick. So SOD, it was a great show. It was funny as hell. Great stuff. Shout out to a newer vinyl community channel. There's a guy, I want to say he's originally from Chicago. He's down in LA, I want to say. A guy named Harry J. He's very knowledgeable in like classic rock and a lot of Los Angeles stuff. Very interesting guy. Has a really big collection, and I believe he produces music himself. So I will leave a link to Harry's channel in the description. So give him a sub, check him out, and tell him I sent you. That's Harry J. Show an album by a Canadian artist. We're gonna go to the east side of Canada, Montreal, and go with Voivod. They're cool. Metal band, started off kind of a thrash band, turned into kind of like a progressive, slightly avant-garde at times, sci-fi, and yeah, really good stuff. I did get to see him a few years ago at a tiny little club here in Seattle, and it was a good show, fun time. So Voivod out of Montreal. And happy birthday, show an album that was released the year you were born. I'm a 1970 guy, and I only have two, and they're by the same band. So one I showed in, I think, maybe my last video, and this is the other one, and that's the debut from Black Sabbath, released February 13th of 1970. You've heard me talk about Black Sabbath a little bit, right?
I wonder when.
Like all the time. So, yes, classic amongst classic, arguably the start of heavy metal right here with this record. So that's the contest. I should have said this at the beginning. It's Mike trying to get to 1 trillion subscribers. Do you think it's possible to get to 1 trillion subscribers? I think he could, if he bought them. Just kidding. No, we're on it. I mean, you know, yeah. Let's see. I have just over 500, which he would predict it as 500,000. So I think he could get to 1 trillion. So anyway, Mike, Patty, thank you for the hat again. And I think we are going to wrap this up. Thank you for helping me out. I loved your answers. And we'll talk to y'all later. See ya!